Okay, Virgos. So we'll get started with your Libra season reading. We have the Libra card out in honor of the energy that Libra season brings, which is really in partnerships, relationships, establishing a balance. This is about what you've put into the year of 2020 so far and how is it showing up and coming into fruition for you now. How is your hard work paid off? How have contracts been honored? Really, just what is the give and take in your relationships? What is due for you? Okay. We're going to pull another card right now in terms of any energy that you're going to be working in. Now, because I'm getting to yours, you're actually my last reading for the Libra season, and we are about halfway through. So when you listen to this reading, you're going to listen in terms of the past few weeks of your life and then the next few ahead. Okay. So this may resonate with you even more, actually, because you've already been in this Libra energy. So whatever comes out in the cards, you actually probably, I would guess, are already experiencing it. Okay, so we're getting the 10th house energy for you guys, which is career. This is being in the public eye. This is a big deal, right? So that means your energy this month is really about how you show up in the world. You're really focusing on your job, maybe growing a business. This, for some of you, could be the fact that, you are in the public. Maybe you're on social media. Maybe you have a following, because the 10th house energy is definitely what people see in you and in terms of what service you provide to the world. Okay. It does have to be a card that, like, it's definitely 10th house energy. You want to mind the fact that people are watching you, people are listening to you, people are paying attention to you. So you are setting an example. We each are always setting an example for others, okay, and how we live our life. And so for you guys, Virgo, there's a lot of heavy focus in your job and your career and your perception, the perception others have of you and your success right now. All right, so we'll pull a Moonology card now and see what else comes up. So, because we're working in Libra season, I would guess that there's probably some really good rewards coming your way this season in terms of your job and your career. If you've been putting a lot of effort into establishing yourself in some way or reaching a goal for yourself, then there's probably going to be some really nice energy coming through that supports a reward and a payoff in that. And you are getting the balsamic moon, a time for healing. So this is really a nice time for you. This is a beautiful Libra season. There's something going on maybe in terms of you kind of rectifying with yourself, your career, your purpose, something involving, maybe some peace coming into your life. If you've been very stressed about work, very stressed about your job, very stressed maybe about the way things have worked out. Maybe your job, your career hasn't worked out the way that you pictured it to be, and that has really caused you some stress. So this is going to be a time where maybe you get some clarity, okay? Because when we have that balsamic moon, it's a very peaceful energy. It's a very healing energy. It's a time for releasing the forcing, releasing the pressure that we put on ourselves. It's really a time for just being and accepting things as they are and trusting that everything is always as it should be, okay? If there has been any situations involving your work life and your career where you have had issues in relationships with people, maybe you've been looked over, maybe you've been taken advantage of. Maybe you've had people mistreat you or not see the amazingness of you. Okay. This, I would assume right now, you're going to see some type of, I don't want to say, I'm like drawing a blank on the right word, but like there is going to be some type of situation that you suddenly get treated the way that you're supposed to. Okay. You get recognized, you get the credit that you deserve, okay? And you are getting weight. It's not yet time. Things are being woven. So this is a spirit guide message for you. So the waiting is always like understanding that things are going on behind the scenes with spirit on your behalf, okay, in a way that's going to really serve you and set you up for success. And you are getting big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary and inspired ideas. So to me, this means that there's something coming up ahead in your career and in your job that is going to be really satisfying. It's going to be really fulfilling. It's going to be very inspiring, okay? because you're being told to think of the big picture right now. So let's say you are frustrated because things aren't exactly where you want them to be right now. Maybe if you could have it your way, you'd be doing something already. You'd be doing something different. You would be, farther along. But Spirit is saying you just got to give it a little bit more time. Okay. So this season isn't about you, I don't think, pushing or forcing. Actually, I think it's more about you kind of being inside yourself and really letting your heart speak and letting your heart envision and using your imagination of what's possible for you. I don't see this as being a season where you're taking a ton of action. I see this more as you being inside your heart, inside your soul, communicating with your higher self in terms of what you want for yourself. Okay. So now let's say there has been a major change in your career or job income setting, and it has really stressed you out. And you're thinking, oh my God, I lost my job or I've had to take a pay cut. There's something, whatever is happening for you on an individual level, it is supposed to be that way because something is having to change. Okay. So, like, let's say you lost your job. Let's say COVID has really negatively affected you and things have just been very stressful. This is Spirit's way of saying you don't have to worry, that things are going to get better. Things are going to improve. There's going to be a give. There's going to be a forward movement and momentum and change. Whether that comes in the form of new opportunities, or it comes in the fact that, any obstacles that you're feeling right now, suddenly they're gone. They get cleared out of the way. Okay. So you are being told in the meantime, while Spirit is working on the divine alignment of how things work out for you, you are being told to be visionary, and really tap into, what do you think? Like, what do you see? Don't worry about what you think is possible. Instead, just literally imagine what would be amazing. What would set your soul on fire? How do you want to be spending your time? How do you want to be serving the world? What would be your dream for you? Because that big picture thinking, that's dream building right there. So this season, it is safe for you, Virgos, and by the way, I'm a Virgo moon, so this goes for me too. It is safe for us to imagine what we want. Imagine our perfect, version of what we think our perfect life would be in terms of, like, the time that we spend doing the things that we love, the income, the lifestyle, this service though, right? Like, because ultimately, while we might want to have the material things and have the comfort, the safety, and what's convenient in our human lifestyle here, the truth is like, well, what are you here for, Virgos? You're not here for anything small. Okay. You are a beautiful energy of learning, and you're such an attention to detail sign. And I have that in myself and I know it, right? So sometimes I think when we're so grounded in the way that we go about things, that maybe potentially that big picture thinking is hard for us, because maybe it almost feels like too big. And because it's too big or something feels unrealistic, then we don't even spend the time on it because we just think, well, that's just not likely, right? Because we tend to be really practical. But Spirit's saying, no, spend the time this month, like, being impractical. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're coming up with the reversed King of Cups, the reversed King of Swords, reversed Temperance, reversed High Priestess, reversed Two of Swords, and then finally a right side up Two of Cups. That cracks me up because sometimes when they all come out reverse, I'm like, come on, really? But we're just going to take it. All right, Spirit, fine. What's our reverse King of Cups? Worry, being nervous, not being in a state of peace and acceptance and surrender. Okay. Because the King of Cups, he's chill. He's balanced. He is so trusting in Spirit, so trusting in himself. He honors his emotions. He is at peace. He is creating from a heart-centered space. Yet with that reversal coming up, I feel like maybe we're not in touch enough with the emotions. Maybe we're not in touch enough with the heart-centeredness of what we need to be doing. So I feel like that is something to think about. We'll see how the cards come out as we pull more, but we're also getting the reverse King of Swords. Now, the reverse King of Swords, I don't really love because he brings an energy of being kind of difficult. Okay. The reverse King of Swords can be really reckless with his words. He can be really cutting. He can be really um, insensitive. Okay. Judgmental. He could be leading from a place that's not like totally, in honor of other people, but really more selfishly motivated. Okay. Like a crappy boss, like a mean boss. Okay. So if we're looking at this from the idea of work related issues here that need to be healed this month, if you're dealing with a boss that stresses you out, that really misuses and abuses their power and their authority, spirit is recognizing that. Okay. We have, though, two incredibly healing and intuitive cards coming through in the reverse position with Temperance and the High Priestess. Like, this is being open to receiving the higher wisdom, and this is about being like really impatient. Okay. So if you're really struggling because you have this challenge at work and you're really feeling trapped, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling blocked, you're like, oh, I don't know how to solve this problem. I don't want to be at this job anymore. I don't want to do this career anymore. I don't want to deal with this person anymore. I don't want to deal with the stress. Spirit is, really saying, hey, listen, there are things that have to happen here. With the Temperance, this is healing, okay? But yet this is a resistance to healing when it's coming up reverse, because Temperance is about patience. It's about trusting. Notice that the yin and the yang, the gold and the dark, the light and the dark, the shadow and the light coming into balance. Notice that Temperance behind him, he has the wings. Like, these are your angels working on your behalf to balance and right the energy, to bring justice to situations, to have things work out in your favor. Yet we have like this resistance coming through, where there's some type of way that you're thinking or being that's really just kind of blocking that flow, that's really just kind of digging in a little bit with this issue. Okay. And with the High Priestess being reversed, it's really a lack of paying attention to that inner wisdom and that inspiration that comes in. Okay. Because if we're doing big picture thinking here, if we're being told, hey, wait, first of all, wait is going to be like, have patience. Things are really going to be amazing for you coming up ahead. We're putting things into alignment. Temperance and this weight card, like, they're the same message here. Okay. So it is quite important that we as Virgos understand that we're on the outside looking in. There is energy totally being shifted and worked with on from our higher selves. Okay. Understand that your higher self is at work along with your angel team. So we must be patient. We must trust that things are always the way that they should be. Okay. And then with that message from our spirit guides of big picture thinking, well, we need to be able to receive that inspiration, right? And that's that High Priestess, letting that information, that inspiration from spirit flow down. This is really important. We want to open up the flow. We want to open up the channel. But if we're worried, if we are really stressed out, if we are all up in our head about things, we're definitely not allowing our energy to flow the right way. Okay. If we're too much, and I'm just going to say, like, let's say this is us, this reverse King of Swords. If we are imbalanced in that mental energy in terms of making decisions and seeing a clear way forward, because that also could be indicated with this reversal here is like, because if he's like this, he sees the way forward. He knows what needs to be done and he's ready to take action and do it. Right. But yet if we're like this, we're like, okay, I'm not really sure what to do here. I'm cloudy. I'm messed up. So I'm getting a lot of crown chakra turbulence and turmoil coming through here, also contributing to this lack of patience. Now we're getting the reverse Two of Swords, and this is about making a decision. Okay. And this is about going inside yourself. She's blindfolded for a reason, because the decision needs to really come from a heart-centered space. It needs to come from being an intuitively felt decision, not from the logic of the mind. Okay. And again, there's like this resistance here. And I feel like there's maybe this battle of practicality coming through. Maybe because Virgo's being such a practical sign, so logical, so good at like analyzing and seeing things and just kind of like piecing things together and analyzing and synthesizing. Like, Virgo's so good at that. But yet that also draws us away from our own emotional GPS system if we allow that to take over too much, right? Because what we really need this month is a balance in partnerships. So we have this Two of Cups coming through. We have this connection vibe coming through. So who is safe for us to connect with? And does this connection, does this person that we can welcome in and team up with this month and open up to about our emotions and talk things through with and kind of release some of the stresses that we have happening, does this person really bring that energy of reminding us to calm that crown chakra energy that's all out of balance? Okay, I think that's what what's happening here is that we're a little bit too much in our heads this month. Okay, and that's something that's going to need to get balanced out. All right, we want to bring it down, we want to ground, we want to meditate, we want to release the fears, release the worries. Okay, because everything is being taken care of. There's so much good ahead right now. There's so many good things being put into place. And what is ahead of you is going to be successful. It's going to be really satisfying and really, oops, just dropped a card. And I'm just going to have to lean down and get it because we'll let that be the first. A time to heal. Yeah. Okay, so if there's something that has really gone on involving your career that's been a real letdown, if somebody has really just not seen you for the true gem that you are, has not seen your worth, your capability, your amazingness, your awesomeness, your potential, if that has hurt you, because I kind of get the feeling, because you're getting a snake spirit time to heal coming up on that reverse King of Cups. So I feel like somebody might have rocked you. Somebody might have really just hurt you, disappointed you. You might have been looking forward to something, really expecting the promotion, expecting the recognition, and it didn't happen. And there's just a real letdown around that. And yet Spirit is saying, the snake spirit, master number 55 is coming through saying, it's time to let go of that. It's time to let go of that pain and trust that everything happens for a reason, okay? Because when we're working with that King of Cups energy, we're working with that stable energy, knowing who we are. His eyes are closed because he is internal and he knows his value. This is about shedding an old skin as well, right? Because snake spirit is transformative. We shed and we release what no longer fits us. So for many of us listening to this reading, I think there's an aspect of you in your career where you are leaving behind an old part of you, whether it's an old role that you've been playing, an old set of skills that you've been operating with to upgrade to something new. Maybe this is a change in career. It's something that is going to be much more in alignment with who you are right now. So whatever it is that has been a disappointment and a letdown to you and has really messed with your sense of self and maybe even just kind of like, swept the rug out from under you, like taken away that foundation of stability that you were trusting in because, there's been a change, I think, or some type of a letdown that's really, really rocked you. But Spirit is saying you have to let it go, let the past go because you're expanding into a newer version of yourself that's going to be more true. Now with that King of Swords reverse, you're getting the hummingbird spirit, be here now. If you're holding on to anger, resentment, judgment against the situation, if there has been a certain person, maybe an authority figure that has really been unfair, really just mistreated you, demeaned you, like really just, maybe they really made you work really hard and you worked really hard for them, trusting that all your hard work would pay off. And then they, overlooked you and chose somebody else. If that's the case, hummingbird spirit is coming in with the be here now, be present. So we need to release whatever we're hanging on to in terms of what's gone on to bring us to this moment. Okay. Now with this impatience coming through, like, right, we want change. We want to see the next thing. We're unhappy with where we are. We've been through the ringer, whatever. We're getting the coyote spirit, number 16, trust in divine detours. So this wait, this patience message coming through, it's just letting spirit's telling you, I got you. Okay. This time that I'm making you stay in this moment. Okay. This waiting period that you're in, this hanged man type of a moment is for your own good. You've got to trust me. Okay. So in the meantime, Be confident, okay? Don't allow anyone to shake your self-esteem or your belief in yourself and your abilities in your future. This is about shedding the limiting beliefs, shedding the limiting patterns, shedding the old in order to expand and move more freely in the new. And I think that that's an important process that you're in right now because that's what this healing is happening for you, okay? So you've got to do that. This moment where you're suspended in this present moment, this is where you are actively shedding that old skin. You are working with your mindset. You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about where you fit in. Where do you want to fit in, right? What do you want? What fits you now better than what you're in, right? Like this is old stuff. This is old energy that needs to go in this career sector of your life. So what fits you better? What is your vision? Okay. And with this high priestess coming up reverse, this blockage of that divine wisdom, because of all of those thoughts, right? All the logical human stuff of, well, money, income, bills to pay, and, risks. And, if I quit, I can't, what if I don't find another job, right? And definitely not saying that you should quit. Instead, you're being told you're the flamingo spirit, you're in between worlds. Okay. You're embracing the in between. You won't have to make a decision like that, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be you having to make a choice. I think it's going to naturally evolve. And the next step is going to present itself to you at the right time. But in the meantime, you're in between. In the meantime, in between time, you've got to sit tight and you've really got to work on shedding the old skin and envisioning what do you want your new skin to be? Okay. Like, who are you now? All the work that you've done, who are you in this moment in time on your journey? Because this is what Spirit's asking you to think about. You don't have to search for a new job. You don't have to look. I mean, not that you can't, by the way, you certainly can, but like you don't have to force anything to evolve. It's going to happen really naturally when you spend this time reflecting inside yourself. Now, with this Two of Swords decision issue here, where you're like, I don't know, do I stay? Do I go? Do I try something different? You're getting vulture spirit. Nothing is ever wasted. If you have been hesitant to make this decision because you think to yourself, well, I've invested so much time into this. I've invested so much of myself. I've been doing this for years. This is what I'm familiar with. This is what I know. And you're just all tied up about it. Spirit saying, hey, listen, there's no such thing as wasted time, wasted effort. You grew, you got everything that you needed to from this, but it's time for you to grow even more. Okay. Now, with this Two of Cups partnership, which is so interesting, who are you going to be holding hands with, metaphorically? Who are you going to be connected to? Pig Spirit says use your mind wisely, make your choices wisely. So, who can you trust? Who is a partnership? Who is offering or extending something to you that you can work with together to make some magic? Really be discerning in who you communicate with, who you team up with, who you share your dreams with, okay? Who you open up with about what you're thinking, what you're contemplating. Be discerning with who you are connected to and how much you share with them, okay? Because the right people and the right person is just going to be supportive and beautiful and help your energy even more flourish and grow. Surround yourself with those who you aspire to be. We are, what's the saying? We are the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with, right? Choose who you spend your time with, who you listen to, who you take advice from. Choose all that wisely, okay? Make sure they're in alignment with the new you, the now you, not the 10 years ago you, okay? People who are not ready to grow the way that you are, they might not understand where you're coming from. And then, misery loves company. They might try and hold you back. They might try and bring you down, instill self-doubt, give you, stir up all those limiting beliefs of, oh, that's not really possible, and blah, 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 okay? Be really discerning in who you share your stuff with. All right, so we're getting the roots of abundance. Yeah, the land between. This is a bridge here. This is a bridge moment. We are suspended between the past and the future. Okay. So with this roots of abundance, this is that healing energy coming through with that snake, okay? Roots of abundance is knowing that what you are starting right now, this new, this old skin that's leaving, This new you is going to be beautiful, stable, and around for a long time. All right. This is a new chapter for you. This season has you dreaming of the next big thing in your life because it's here. It's almost ready to be touched and tasted and truly felt. And when you get there, it is going to be so successful. It is going to bring in all of the abundance that your heart is looking for, the money abundance, the success, the achievement, the service, the inspiration that you're really craving. Okay. It's a beautiful message here. And we're being told, be here now with that hummingbird spirit and the land between. Just accept that we're in the in between. We just got to accept it, guys. We're not going to try and force and jump to the other side and try and get there faster. Instead, we're just going to be like, okay, here's where we're at. I know this where I'm at right now isn't permanent. I realize that I am going to someplace new, that there is going to be, a year from now, your life might look incredibly different and it's going to be all in good ways. But in the moment right now, remember what Spirit is saying. Now is the time to envision and imagine and let your heart connect with that beautiful, beautiful energy of all the possibilities that lie ahead. And that brings us beautifully into the higher view. Now, that's coming through with the coyote spirit, trust in a divine plan, coming through again, remember that's with that temperance, wait. You've been told to wait twice now. You've been told that you're in the land of the in-between twice now. Okay, so this message is coming in loud and clear. Relax, Virgos. Don't try and rush it. So this higher view, understand that everything is always divinely aligned. Everything is in perfect timing. So we don't need to stress that we're going to miss out on what is meant for us because that is an impossibility, okay? We are never going to miss out what is meant for us. And every stage that we're at, every step of the way that we're at is serving us. We are learning, we are growing. We are serving others by just being ourselves with where we're at right now. So rather than trying to escape where we are currently at, instead, just say, hey, listen, there is a reason that I'm here right now, and I'm going to just be here and I'm going to embrace it because Spirit will always have me where I am needed. Okay? And where my soul needs to be for my soul's highest good, for the reason that I came here and the experiences that I wanted to have while I was here. Because every experience sparks that creative energy inside each and every one of us, right? So understand that there is just such a bigger picture situation happening here, where even in the moment, even if it's an uncomfortable moment, even if you're dealing with someone that is unpleasant to deal with or has hurt you or just not really been the best with you, has caused you stress in your career. A higher view is really just saying, hey, it is all for a reason. You've got to trust in it and just be here with it. And remember that embrace the in-between of the flamingo, coming here with sacred reverence. Okay, listen, you are a beautiful spiritual being, right? You are a spirit, you are a soul having a human experience. Allow that wisdom to come in. Allow the wisdom of this in between moment to flow in. Let your soul speak to you. Find the good in it, find the lessons, find the growth. Okay, love on yourself and say, I'm doing such a great job. Have reverence for the process. Honor your process. Honor you, your intuitive guidance. When you're envisioning what you want for this next chapter, let your heart speak for you, not your mind. Let this be a heart-centered imagination adventure of what it could be, okay? And just have fun with it and trust that your heart opens the key to everything, right? Our heart chakra energy is the great healer. So give that love to yourself. Give love to the journey up to this point. Give love to those who have hurt you because they have made you stronger. They have helped you develop more into the more authentic version of yourself, knowing what you like, what you don't like, who you are and who you are not, okay? There is a reverence to this entire journey. Do not dismiss any intuitive wisdom coming through. We must flip that high priestess upside down and make it right side up, so that we get all of that soul wisdom that wants to be downloaded. So we're getting bearing fruit right there, right? I said it. Nothing is ever wasted is the vulture spirit and bearing fruit. Understanding that every single step of the way is growing something inside of us. This is teaching us something about ourselves. It is growing our soul's strength. It's the experience of it all. There is just so much beautiful wisdom and skills and just more of your soul that wants to show up in the world right now. So just be grateful that you're where you're at, because where you're at is perfect. So using your mind wisely, ears wide open, master number 33 coming through with that 2 of Cups. So definitely be paying attention, Virgos, to the people who are coming into your life, what they're saying, what they're doing, what is the energy that you're catching on to. Pay attention and be observant, okay? Look for the signs. Look for the signs that are coming through about somebody in your life, okay? There is a person that you need to like really catch on to the information that spirit is giving you about this person. Listen to what they say, but not just their words, their emotions. Listen to their motivations behind what they say, and really allow that high priestess intuition to speak for you, right? Like get that radar going so that you are able to trust yourself and trust what you know to be true, okay? And if you feel like you get a vibe from anybody that's like, I don't know if I could trust you. Are they jealous? Are they insecure? Are they absolutely 100% like on your team and supportive of you? Beautiful, wonderful. Those are the people you need to spend your time with, not the people who you think, you have that vibe. They're not 100% trustworthy, okay? Be smart about the people that you spend time with right now. This is, you're co-creating your life right now. This season is a season of co-creation with spirit. It's happening on an internal level. So hold that sacred. Hold your heart's vision sacred. You don't need to go and tell everybody what you're doing, because this is personal to you. You are setting up your next chapter. Now we have some advice from the fairies. Practice, 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 and winter. Okay, so we're being told the answers to your prayers and affirmations are fully realized in the winter months. So this weight that you're being told, okay, you're getting weight in 2 different cards, temperance and that one. I think in the winter, this is when we're going to actually see the change, see the movement, and see the energy start to flow. Remember, right now we're in that design element. We're in that visionary stage, but it's going to be the winter where now the ball starts rolling on all of that, and we're going to actually start to see it become our reality. And then we're getting practice, practice, practice. With daily practice, you can polish your skills and talents and increase your confidence. Yeah, so do your thing. Do your thing and get really good at it. Okay, this is a time of honing your skills and improving and becoming even more confident and like really challenging yourself to expand. And Virgo, you guys never shy away from a challenge, right? Because you're like, oh, I could do anything I want. You think it's impossible? Let me show you how to do it. I actually have the Walt Disney quote in my room here. I call this my spirit room. And it says, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. I love the fact that we know, right, that we are capable of learning and being good at anything. So whatever it is, the skills that you work in, whatever your skill set is, whatever your goal is to become good at, remember this has to do with career, livelihood, your job, your service to the world. Whatever that is, do it all the time this month. Just do it, do it, do it. Because the more you do it, the better you're going to get, the more confident you're going to be, so that when in the winter things really start to open up, you are going to have so many hours under your belt that it's going to just be that much easier for your energy to expand, grow, and all that abundance to come pouring in, because you're going to have been prepped for it. So right now I'm shuffling to get us 2 archetype cards of archetypal energies to work with this month that will serve us best and keep our energy flowing. And we are getting the Wounded Child and the Femme Fatale. Well, those are interesting. Okay. So the Wounded Child, we all have a Wounded Child archetype. This is one that every human being shares. All right, the wounded child is awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Okay, let me explain to you what this means. It's powerful and awesome, and I love it. Okay. This is about honoring the fact that we are all walking around this earth with baggage. We have all experienced pain. We have all experienced loss. We have all experienced trauma in one form or another that have created beliefs about ourselves that are painful, beliefs about our worthiness, beliefs about our capabilities, our potential, our lovability. These are the moments in our life that have scarred our hearts, okay? And the thing is that when we don't heal those moments that those versions of us are still existing as if those moments are present. So the belief system of not being good enough, smart enough, talented enough, liked enough, having enough resources, like whatever it is, whatever those limiting beliefs are that hold us back, we can't bust through that until we heal the part of ourselves that experienced it, which means not only are we operating with these unhealed wounds, but so is everybody else, right? So that means the people that you come up against, let's say an unfair boss, somebody who is unjust, somebody who abuses their power, recognizing that that person's behavior is coming from a wound that they have that is unhealed. Now, I'm not saying that it excuses it, it doesn't, but when we can see somebody for the child that they are, the child that is in the grown up body, and realize that they are desperately trying to prove their worth. They're trying to find their power because maybe they felt so powerless. All right. Now, it just helps us see things from a completely different perspective. It allows us to have compassion for ourselves. It allows us to shine light on the parts of us that need to be healed. And it allows us to forgive and release any transgressions against us from others, right? Because if we can look at somebody else and say, you know what? Their behavior, their actions, their words are coming from a wound that they're carrying. And I feel sorry for them, right? And I realize that that's all that is. That's their wounded child speaking and lashing out, okay? Trying to defend themselves, trying to protect themselves because that's where they get their power from. But when you realize that's what it is, it can be no longer personal to you, right? It's no longer like their words don't have the same weight because it's like, okay, I see where that's coming from. I get that. That's a shame. That must be really hard for that person to carry that burden around with them. I hope one day they can heal that, okay? And it gives you the freedom to then let it go and focus on yourself and healing your own wounds. We can't heal each other's wounds. That's not our responsibility. We're only here to do it for ourselves, each and every one of us. It's always our choice. So it's all about you healing your wounds so that the actions of others don't actually trigger the same reactions anymore because you become so much more loving of yourself and compassionate and understanding. And your entire life changes when you heal your childhood wounds. So I want you to think about that from that perspective this month is like, what kind of limiting beliefs and experiences that hurt me am I carrying around that are really messing with the way that I show up? Like, am I reacting to the situations that I've experienced from my place of power? And if not, well, then why? Why does that situation take my power? What is it that I've experienced in my life? What was I taught or conditioned to believe about myself that makes me feel a certain way where somebody is able to take my power with their words or with their actions that leaves me feeling the way that I feel? Digging in and doing that work is going to be important this month. And then we're getting the femme fatale archetype. And this is highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. This is about loving on yourself no matter who else is loving on you. This is about really just being in touch with your own divine feminine. You really just loving the body that you have been gifted for this lifetime, honoring yourself, accepting yourself, feeling good in your own skin, regardless of any outside validation. So, for those of you that are watching, this is an important energy to embrace. Wear the things that make you feel good, that make you feel sexy, you know, really embrace the physicality of this body. All right. Like, yes, we are souls having a human experience, but like, give yourself the freedom to find pleasure and enjoy your body. Okay. Now I'm going to pull a blind spot card. This is, oh God, I just dropped another deck. I have so many decks piled up around here that sometimes I knock them over. All right, so the blind spot is a mindset that has been tripping you up. Okay, this is something that now that you're going to become aware of it, it is not going to mess with your decisions or the way that you're showing up in your relationships. Okay. I'm just thinking about a friend of mine who is also a Virgo and how this is such a great reading for both of us. I love it. So much goodness coming from this season, so much coming into balance, so much inner work being done that's really, requiring us to bust in and bust into those limiting beliefs and bust through them around our self-love and around our own, around the stuff that we've been conditioned to believe. Just so much healing. It's really awesome. Okay. So we're getting sigil number 43. I'm going to hold it up, and as I read what it means, all you have to do is look at it. Okay, so number 43 is assumptions. This means right now you are assuming, and it just so happens that what you are assuming is incorrect. We assume things about situations based on how similar they are to a model, example, or prototype we've already built in our minds. For this reason, assuming is a form of stereotyping. The mind works rather like a computer in this way. For example, if you meet a nice person from a particular country, you will be prone to assume that everyone from that country is nice as well. Or if you were abandoned by your father, you will be prone to assume that all men will abandon you. If we have a poor self-concept and someone starts to act distant, we will assume it is because they feel negatively about us in some way. To assume is to take something for granted or to suppose something is true without having any proof other than our comparison to the pre-existing model. Because we tend to project our own sense of reality onto other people, we also tend to assume things about other people without even talking to them to confirm whether we're right or wrong. For example, we assume that if we ask someone out on a date, they would say no, when in fact they would say yes. We assume someone is mad at us when they're really just busy. If you've drawn this sigil, what are you assuming? What are you accepting as truth, even though it is simply an assumption? You're being called to ask and understand rather than to assume. You are being called to imagine that every person in your life and every situation is a fresh and new experience. Wow. That couldn't be more perfect, because that literally is what we are working through this season, is examining our beliefs that we have assumed have been truth this entire time. The expectations of ourselves, of our life, what it should look like, of our possibilities and all of our potential. Like, what did I say before was this idea that like sometimes we might not even spend time in the big picture thinking because we assume that that's going to be not possible or too much or like very unlikely, right? So our assumptions are our beliefs that like we are keeping things in this box, right? We're saying, okay, this is what life has to look like. This is what my job has to look like. This is how I have to show up. This is the recipe for this part of my life. The recipe for my career, the recipe for my job looks like this. And I can't deviate, right? Because this is what I've been taught it is. But like, no. Spirit is saying totally not the case. You have so much freedom here to co-create. You have so much freedom to bust through all of those things that you think are true. All the rules of life that you've been programmed to think operate a certain way, they're not truth. They're just what you have acquired like a sponge throughout your life. But there are so many other ways to look at things, and when you understand that the possibilities are totally limitless, when you are on this beautiful wise owl and riding on this beautiful, flight above everything, and you can see that there are no limits. It is this great expanse of possibility within us. That is where the magic is, okay? So this is really a season, Virgos, about recognizing that there's so much more to you and so much more ahead, and allowing yourself to, one, identify what's holding you back, identify those limiting beliefs, identify the wounded child parts of yourself, the parts that are hurting, the parts that are still operating thinking that they're not good enough or that something isn't for them. So we're going to identify those beliefs, and then we're going to be envisioning what our heart would really, really, really love, and give yourself the freedom to do so. And in the meantime, dress sexy, feel sexy, and, do the things that make you feel really good in your own body, because that's also going to be an expansion of our energy. It's not just to like yourself looking in the mirror, it's actually an energetic practice right now, because we are getting ready for the winter, because the winter is where it's going to be at for us. There is going to be so much expansion and newness in the winter. So right now, it is like, start to wrap your head around your new image. Start to wrap your head around this new version of yourself, because the time for the old beliefs, the old limiting beliefs, it's like so done. Okay. It's so done. You are shedding that skin. You are shedding the version of yourself that you've always thought of. And you are now starting to embrace this whole new version that you want, that is your destiny, that in your soul is truly you. So what a beautiful reading, Virgos. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed giving this reading. Please subscribe, hit like, turn on the notification bell if you'd like to get notified of when I post more videos. I wish you a beautiful Libra season of transformation and healing. All the best. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.